Happy Flosstube Friday, friends! My name is Kari. This is Tiger Lily Designs. Welcome to my channel. I don't even know how long. 3 weeks, I think, is how long it's been since I did this. Crazy. I'm just so excited to be here for you. And the table is jam-packed. When you're used to doing an episode per week, and then you take a vacation and a trip and the things, and now I have 3 weeks full of stuff. So what does that mean? Well, I have not one, not two, but three stitch finishes to share. If you saw the thumbnail, you got a little teaser of what it is. So excited. I have 4 WIPS. One of them's a new start. 2 of them I've made big progress on, some big girls, so I want to show those to you. Of course, I've got a quilting. I did a blog, super fun. I went on a trip. I'm on a little snippet of my vacation. If you follow my Instagram, you saw some of the fun photos that I shared while I was out living my empty nester life, vacationing on an Alaska cruise. I shared some photos in Instagram stories while I was out and about. I'm not going to deep dive into it. I'm going to do a separate video for that, but I'll give you a little bit of things. Of course, I have some Alaska haul, because if you are a quilter and a stitcher and you go on vacation, do you not try to track down the local shops? Because I do, and I did. So I've got some local haul, and that's it. So hopefully it's not jam-packed, but it could be. You know, sometimes I'll just ramble. So settle in, grab your stitching, grab your favorite drink. Hopefully we're going to have some fun at Flosstube Friday. So where should I start? Let's just start with what's on top of the table. I did some finishes. Let's start again. I went on vacation. Like I said, I'm not going to deep dive and tell you all the details of my trip. That's going to be a separate video, just because I've received lots of messages of people. Alaska cruises are pretty popular, or at least on people's bucket lists, and they're asking me, where'd you go? What'd you do with all the things? And I definitely want to tell you, because I have a couple tips and tricks. Learn from me, don't learn on your own. Why not? That I want to share, but it's not really Flosstube appropriate. I mean, maybe, but I'm going to have a separate video. But the moral of the story is, I was vacationing, and when I vacation, I take my stitching. Yes, of course, I'm there to enjoy the moment, the place, the destination, the people I'm with, more importantly. But there's downtime. And when I'm downtime at home, I'm stitching. So I bring some travel stitching. And so I planned accordingly 2 travel stitches to bring. One was a small one, and it was theme appropriate. Alaska cruise. What makes you think? I think of whales. Now, I should have thought of bears. Let me show you why. Yes, I know. Okay, I told you I wasn't going to tell you, but oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm sitting there. We went on one of our excursions was this bear search. Bear search, really? Okay, but for real. And we ended up in this river and the stream, and this mama bear and its 2 cubs were salmon fishing in the river. I mean, could you even? We just sat there on this viewing platform. Our tour guy was like, this never happens. All season, never seen this. I mean, so of course, just so you know, I'm the mom, I'm the person there that's on this platform crying because I miss my baby cubs. Anyway, the moral of the story is, I didn't bring a bear stitch. I should have. I'm going to find one. I think I'm going to do that Cottage Garden Big Bear, maybe. I mean, I think that's what I need to do for this, to represent, to invoke the memory of this bear. But I kind of want to do my own bear with cubs situation. I don't know. I'm still brainstorming. But what I did bring was whales. I thought, of course we're going to see a whale. Well, we did see a whale tail. I'll put that right here. We did see the whale tail. It was off the side of the boat. There was a bigger view. I didn't have my camera at the time. it was like right there, 10 feet away from the edge of the boat. Huge whale tail. I mean, majestic. And of course, by the time I got my camera, the whale tail was way far away into the ocean, and that's the video that you see. But the moral of the story is I did see a whale tail in Alaska, so that's exciting. And a whale, not just the tail, the whole thing. But so I thought, oh my gosh, how perfect would this little stitch be? And so that way I can make my own ornament. I love to have stitched ornaments on my tree, and of course ones that mean things to me. And this is of course going to remind me of this vacation forever. And so I kitted this up before I went. Now what's unique about my kit up that I want to share with you is that I don't know how many colors that is. Yeah. I need to put my glasses on. Seven colors. I didn't want to use, I kind of did my own Tiger Lily pull. And because it's so small, I didn't want to bring a whole bunch of, you know, cards and skeins and things like that. So I made my own floss card. And so this goes like this. This is one of the note cards that I send when you buy something from Tiger Lily or Project Keeper. This is a note card. It actually has a flap on it. And this is my mom's artwork. Now, of course, it doesn't usually have holes in it. And so I've turned one of her artworks, one of her paintings that hangs in my house, into note cards. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, how perfect. A nice sturdy cardstock that I use. And I took my 1/2-inch hole punch, which I got on Amazon. I will link down below. Super great. And then I just punched myself 9 holes. Now, why did I punch 9? There's only 7. Well, because I did my own little twist on it. I wanted to do, like I said, I did my own pull. So it was 3 blues for the water, and then the turquoise, and then of course there's the yellow and the red, and then this variegated orange that was a little different, and then white and yellow. So let me show you it again. So of course, you know, so I just did my own pull, and most of this, I have a card. I have a project information card to show you. It doesn't really help you very much if you want to stitch like I did, because most of this, actually all of it, is just a custom pull from my silk collection. Now I have a silk collection from both Mo's Silk, which is a Facebook group hand dyer down in Florida. Love her. She does a sale every Saturday morning of different colors. What she dyed that. What was in the dye pot this week? I mean, gorgeous. And so I have quite a collection. I'm working on just enhancing my collection all the time, but I was able to pull from hers, from the silks I have from her, this blue and this blue. It's just a nice subtle variegation. It's solid, but solid with variegation. So it's not like this one, which is orange, red, and yellow. Now this is a Mercedes silk that is from my stash as well. And it's incredibly variegated from the yellow, orange, and red. Well, when I think of sunsets or sunrises, wrong card, I think of orange. I'm a Clemson Tiger. All my sunrises have to have orange. So I wanted to add some orange to that. So I knew when I kitted it up, that's what I wanted to do. So let's just show you the stitching. Shall we? I got a big board because I've got some. So you can see, sorry, I don't want to come too close. The sun is trying to come up today here in Mount Vernon, but I didn't want to turn on my ring light. So it's much brighter in person, but you can see this is my stitch. It's such a cute, sweet little pattern. It measures 51 by 51. And you can see, I just kind of did my own twist on some of the colors, you know, but what's the biggest change that I did was, of course, adding the orange. So again, my sunrise has not just yellow and red. It has that variegated orange because my Clemson sunrises do. And you can see in the pattern. So let's just compare. In the pattern, there's a little bit of white. So right here around the edge of the sun and within the water is just white fabric. It's not stitched, but it's so close to being full coverage. I just decided, let's embrace the full coverage. So this is a full coverage, meaning you cannot see the fabric. When I finish this, and I'm going to finish it as an ornament, like I said, I'm going to, all that white is actually stitched white. It was the Silks for You, part of my huge hank that I have. That's always my go-to white. And of course I put white in the ocean because white caps on the water on a cruise, no joke. So it's a full coverage and I'm super excited about that. That is going to be such a sweet ornament finish. I don't know if I'm going to do it a pillow ornament, or if I'm going to do one of those flat finishes with fabrics and the ribbons and the bows and all the things. I don't know, but moral stories, so cute. Love it. Okay. So of course I finished that on the boat. And one thing I wanted to show you, of course I showed you this. And so I also wanted to show you, so I'm not a big, I stitch in hand. I stitch in hand, no hoops anywhere. So needle minders, when you have floppy fabric, needle minders is way down wherever they are on your fabric, right? So they aren't really usually part of my repertoire when I'm stitching here at home. But on travel, losing a needle when you're traveling is catastrophic because you don't have an endless supply. I did bring 6, but I didn't have an endless supply of needles. And I didn't want to lose them like somewhere where someone else could sit and stab themselves. So I put needle minder on this card, and it's a nice heavy cardstock, so it holds it perfect. There's my needle right there on the back. I don't know what's on the back and not the front, but it's easier to see that way. That way, when I was switching floss colors and I had it on the table next to me, I could just throw my needle on there, switch colors, pull a strand, do all the things, and I never lost any needle. Pretty excited. So I love putting my needle minders. I'm kind of like digging this concept for smaller projects where I don't need to have the whole skein. Making my own floss cards with greeting cards. Somebody on Instagram, so Jessica from Sweetwater Stitcher, thank you. Hi Jessica. Shared this tip that I shared on Instagram on one of her videos, and already somebody on Instagram has tagged us and said that she has been saving greeting cards from her husband. Okay, first of all, sweetest thing ever. And now she has a purpose for them. So she's taking these beautiful cards that of course are going to evoke memories, endless numbers of memories, and then she can just put little holes on the side. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the integrity of the card or the image on it, but then every time she stitches it, so I'm super excited. I wish I had a stack of greeting cards that I could use, but now I'm going to start collecting them. Hey, you want to send me a Christmas card? Put me on a Christmas card list. Love that. My mailing address is down below. Oh, how exciting would that be? And then I'll have floss cards for entire 2023. Okay, super excited about that. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that was finish number 1, stitch number 1, travel stitching. Now let's just stick with travel stitching for a bit because why not? Now, again, if you follow me on Instagram, there's lots on Instagram, just so you know, because I like to do the stories because they disappear in 24 hours. So I could be kind of goofy and silly and they're gone. You'll never know unless you were on it that day. But another thing I did was the night before I left, because what do you do the night before you leave for a 10-day vacation? Yeah, no, you don't go into your studio and totally decide at, I think it was 8:30 at night, that I needed to make something, because I did. Yeah. I was wanting, my other project was a 1-color large stitch. Now, of course, the pattern's over there. I'm going to have to go grab it. But let me show you the keeper first. And of course, I have my big keepers, huge keepers, love them, and they're great for multiple projects. I took a big keeper and put the small keeper inside the big keeper. Yes, I did. But I wanted to have something a little smaller because my travel purse thing that I would take around the boat is this little tiny backpack. And so I wanted to be able to fit in there. And so I made this. Now, of course, I should have got I had big plans. Last night I came up with all the plans of all the things I was going to tell you, realizing this was going to be like a 3-hour marathon movie. So it's not, because I've already forgotten 2 things. Next time. It'll be a spoiler for next week. But the moral of the story is what I decided the night before I left was that I needed to make a smaller keeper. Now, of course, as a maker of project keepers, I should have an endless supply of these things, but I do not. I don't. And so, but I wanted to make this one. And so I wanted it to be fun. I could have just pulled a pretty fabric, no shortage of pretty fabric here in the Tiger Lily studio, but I did not pull pretty fabric. I decided, let's go into my UFO drawer. Now, what's a UFO drawer? I should take a video and show you. I should write some of these things down because it's going to be great things to share over the next couple of weeks. We'll see if I remember any of that. Anyway, I have a UFO drawer. What is a UFO drawer? Let's step back for a little bit. In this room, so behind this wall is another room. My studio is one room. Still haven't done a studio tour. There's another thing to put on the list. But behind this room is another room. more studio stuff. It's kind of like behind the curtain studio stuff. More like storage and inventory. And oh, by the way, if you need a gnome, I've got gnomes on sale type of situation because I need to make room for all the Christmas things I want to do. Anyway, but behind that is another room. In that room is a drawer, a set of drawers. Like it was, yeah, I should take a picture. I don't think I can back up of it. I'll see if I can. If I can, it's here. It's a dresser drawer, set of drawers, 6 drawers that you know, it's for your bedroom. We put clothes in it. That's what a dresser is. This was Lily, my daughter who's in college, dresser when she was a baby. When she was a baby, 17 and a half years ago, I did the pink and green theme. That was what was cool 17 and a half years ago, or 18 when I was prepping her baby room. So I made this dresser. I don't know why I'm telling you the story. Made this dresser. I decoupaged it with, that was when I was in the paper crafting days. So it's all like, now I have to take a picture. It's all paper crafted with ribbon and decoupage. Anyway, and then I painted it pink and then I waxed it and I did all these things. Okay, so, but it lives its life in Lily's pink and baby room. And then of course, once she got old enough to have an opinion, it came out of her baby room, but I loved it. It's like retro to me. Yes, I like antique pieces. I have lots of antique pieces of furniture, and this is not antique. This was anyway, but I love it. And so where does it belong? It lives in my studio because it's art and creative and it's fun. And anyway, in the drawers, the drawers are full of random stuff, like quilt tops that haven't been finished, quilts. I mean, if you've been sewing and quilting and stitching, like I have for 20 plus years, you accumulate quite a collection. Now, of course, I have a pretty collection and I like to look at the pretty, but when you have quilt tops, an enormous amount, and quilt stuff that are half done and things like, that's not pretty. So I put it in drawers. Anyway, UFO, unfinished object, meaning quilts blocks or quilt things or things that are not finished. So I made Lily a quilt. I'm not going to show that picture because it's way upstairs and I'm not going to pull it out, but someday you'll see it. I made her a Dresden when she was like 10 or 12. Purple was her jam. And so when I was in this Dresden plate, love doing Dresden plates. Speaking of, should we do a Dresden plate? I'm kind of thinking, after I got back onto this, I was like, the Dresden plate is such a classic quilt block. Now let me show it to you before you're like, what the heck is a Dresden plate? Now this is a half Dresden plate because I cut the top and the bottom off. But this is a Dresden plate quilt block. Now it looks hard. Don't be scared. It's not hard. Anyway, it's not, the quilting section will come later. But I made her a quilt, Dresden plates, queen size. It was for her bed. It was purple and green. And whenever I make a quilt, I always make 1 or 2 extra blocks because you never know. When you need 20 blocks for a quilt, and something happens and you're down to 19, the math doesn't work. But when you have 21 and you need 20 and you mess up, you're good. So I don't remember how many extra I made. Maybe I just made 1 extra. I didn't mess up. I don't know. But I had 1 Dresden plate quilt block in my UFO drawer. And it was actually already out. You can see that I had already hand stitched the edge of it. It was on batting. I was going to make it into a throw pillow to go on her bed. It never became a throw pillow. And now she's off at college and purple is not her favorite. So it still lived in my UFO box. So anyway, I went in there and I said, let's find a quilt block that the math works for my keepers, my mini keeper. So I made myself a mini keeper the night before I left using a quilt block as the cover. And I just love it so much. So yes, I am going to, if you've been around, I've got a project keeper pattern for my big keepers. And I just released the floss keeper pattern, which I will show you in a little bit. This is kind of like a combo. In that there's a zipper pocket here and here's the zipper, but this is the thread bed. And then I had, this is whole. So this is vinyl. This is my vinyl that I use for the pockets, but I used my 1.5 inch hole punch and I made holes for my floss drop side. And then I added this for my travel scissors. Anyway, so this was my travel case for my 1 color stitch. Now that is the other stitch. Let me go grab it. Okay, I'm back. So the other one I wanted to bring, besides the whale tail, super cute and small, I knew I could get that one done, knocked out. But the other one I wanted, like when you're sitting on an airplane for 10 hours or so, you don't want to be switching colors all the time. And I knew that. And so what I did is I went to my local needle workshop in Stitches, like right before I left, and I just perused their patterns. I was very good. I didn't get anything besides the whale tail in this because I was on point and I have expo things coming. So, but this is the long dog. Let me take it out. I got a one color stitch and it's Long Dogs Samplers. What's it called? Forevermore. And I just loved it. I mean, I went on this cruise with Patrick and it just is, you know, dragons and dogs and seahorses and butterflies. I just loved it. So this was super sweet and it's one color. Now you can see she did it on blue fabric with white thread. That's no, not what I did. I did a little poll on Instagram. Thank you for voting. I used the fabric you liked. Thankfully you picked the one I wanted anyway. And so I went and I grabbed my, look how much floss I did not use yet. So I have my floss. So one side I had my floss inside here. And of course I brought, this was a whole hank of this blue. So this is Mo's Silk. The color is called Christmas Night. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a catalog. You can't get it. So it's just a nice, rich navy variegated blue that I knew I wanted. Love the smell of her silks. And then I showed you guys this on Instagram. Now this was my little trick. I haven't opened it since I got on the cruise. Let's see. So this was a Moda tin. And so back to the don't lose a needle when you're traveling because A, you're going to sit in it, or and B, if you run out of needles, you can't stitch anymore. So I made myself a magnet box. So I went and I got, I have like a package of Amazon magnets. I'll link them down below that I got, to make needle minders. This was before I realized needle minders and stitching in hand don't really match together until I got the floss card. Anyway, so I had these magnets and I was like, okay, so if I put magnets on the bottom, E6000 glue, favorite glue, put some of that on there. This is again, the night before. I'm gluing magnets down for my needle box. Now, of course, inside, I have them already all threaded. I had 6 needles. And so I just popped, I'm using 14 count, so I was able to use a number 26 needle. I bought a package of 26 needles also at In Stitches when I was there. So I'd have a full package. And then that way I can load them all up, right? I loaded up 6 needles at a time and then I just drop them in the magnet box and they don't fall out. And I didn't lose a needle. That's exciting. So I kind of dig on that needle box situation. I might be buying a whole plethora of needles and maybe some more boxes because, oh, someone had a great idea. Altoid tins. I mean, or other kind of tins that you can get, little minty tins. I mean, these are pretty, but if you already buy those things, how great is that? Anyway, so let's just show you. It says I did get some stitching done on this. This is a whip. This is not a finish. But so cute. So again, this is the Mo's Silk Variegated Floss in the colorway Christmas Night. It's just a beautifully rich navy. And then you can see, it's just a slight variegation. See in the little dragon's body, you can see just a little bit, but oh my gosh, I loved this one color stitching. It went so fast and it was so great to not have to change your colors when you're sitting there in the cramped little middle seat of an airplane for 7 hours on one flight. And you just didn't have to switch and it was already all loaded and it was great. So the fabric, of course, like I said, I had you guys vote. I wanted to use 14 count because, or 14 or 16 count because A, I didn't know how my lighting was going to be when I was traveling, whether I was on the airplane or on the boat or wherever I was. I wanted lighting to not be a factor. So I didn't want to do 18 or 20 count. Again, Aida Stitcher. And so I wanted to do 14 or 16. So I gave you guys a choice of 3 or 4 different colors on Instagram. And I like doing those little polls. It's so fun. And the one that won, yay, was one of my favorites, of course. It's from my girls, LFA Linen. TreeHouse Fiber Arts is where you can grab those. And of course, it's called LFA Linen, but it's Aida. She dyes Aida and linen, and just the name of her company is LFA Linens. And so this was 14 count New England gray. And how fantastic do navy and gray look together? Fantastic. And so it's just a little bit, can you see? I think you can see the modeling. I think it's showing up a little. It's just a subtle, that's all you want, modeling, and it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Sue is a master dyer, and I love this fabric. So that is the progress I made on my one color stitch that will live. And of course I folded up my pattern. I'm not gonna show you, but that's my folded up pattern. I made a copy. I don't want to show you the pattern. It came like this, 8.5 by 11 sheets. This pattern is 4 sheets, 4 pieces of paper, right? And so what I did is I made a copy and then I taped them all together and then I folded it up, and that's what's in here, is this folded like master poster board. So that way I wasn't trying to rifle 4 sheets of paper as well. Anyway, so that was one of my WIPs. I feel like I'm all over the place already. Okay, so let's go to another finish, shall we? How about the one that fell on the floor? Hold on. Oh, wow. Okay, so in sticking with the theme of fall, it's almost fall, right? So I went back to my March Madness, and I went back to my March Madness a while ago, and did I show you guys this last time? I don't know, but I went back and I pulled out another one that was close. Hilda, Boo, and Sunflowers too. So sweet. Now, this was enabled by my friend Michelle. Her YouTube channel is Penny's Daughter Shares. She just came back. Yay, Michelle. So excited to see you. I will link her YouTube down below. You should go check her out. She has such sweet finishes and all the things I want to do all the things. But anyway, so a while ago, like a year maybe, she finished this and I was like, okay, add to cart, thank you. And so she enabled me, and of course I did my own Tiger Lily pull on it. Here's all my colors. And this was back in March Madness, so this was before the project information cards, so I don't have them. But what I do have is the gorgeous assortment. And so this, is how I did it. This is my four. These are 3 purples that I have from Mo's Silk. Like I said, I'm working on my collection. So I had 3 different ones. And so I went ahead and I put all 3 in the bag. And then I had an orange from her, and there's a yellow from Mo's Silk. You can see I make my own cards with playing cards. Mo's Silk black, Mo's Silk orange. So sorry you couldn't recreate this if you wanted to, but I just did my own pull based on the inspiration of the pattern. So let me pull out my board, take my little whale off, and show you guys this finish that I finished this week. Now this is on 14 count /16 because it shrunk a bit. Dyed by Patrick fabric. I think this was either grape juice or wine. I don't remember. You should go back to my March Madness videos when I was giving you all the details of what this was. But this is super sweet, and I just finished this guy last night, I think. It measures 6.5 by 8.5. So maybe I'll put it, like, if I can get, I'm going to try to finish this as a stand-up, like one of those, kind of like one of these where it's a frame on top of a frame, a box. So if it's 6.5 by 8.5, I think I can put it, if I find like an 8 by 10 frame that I can put something on top of. So if I double mat it with fabric, anyway, that's what I'm thinking. It's a shelf sitter type of finish. But I just love how it came out. First, when I started, I was worried that the purple wasn't showing up on this purple, but I like the finish that it is. And I just love that this fabric is, you know, he dyed it for me. So sweet. The variegation is bonkers. Love it. So I finished that one. Hoping to get that one fully finished soon. So it can be, I haven't displayed, right now I still have my patriotic stuff up. Because I don't really have a lot of fall yet. I kind of have Halloween, not the fall. So I feel like September 16th is a little early for Halloween. Maybe October 1. And then I'll go bang, buster Halloween. We'll see. Anyway, let's go. Sticking with the Halloween theme. Here's another WIP that I pulled out. So like I said, I went back to my March Madness. Those were all smalls. So I wanted to have some finishes because small September, I was hoping, still am, we're only halfway through, that I'm going to do some fully finishing of some smalls. So I've already got those two that I could finish. And this one I didn't get very far, so I don't think this is going to make the finishing cut. But I loved it, Penny Pumpkin, because when I saw the pumpkins from Autumn Cloche, from Hello from Liz Matthews, like, I need that in my life. Don't worry, it's coming. But those pumpkins made me think of how much I love pumpkins. And I love this white pumpkin. Also another one enabled by my sweet friend, Michelle. So I pulled this guy out. Didn't get very far, really. As you can see, not very far. And this is stitched on, let's see what this tag says. 18 count. Huh. 18 count, picture this plus. Oh my goodness, really? 18 count, picture this plus. And I'm doing it with 2 strands. I wonder if when I picked it back up, I did it with 2 strands again. I don't know. That's going to be poofy coverage, which is different, which is fine. So that's 18 count with 2 strands. Not, I guess I was just testing things out back in March. Because to compare and contrast, I have an 18 count that is 1 strand. That's a fully finished. Let's go there now, shall we? Welcome. The Green Coat Santa. This is Teresa Kogut's Patreon pattern from July. Yay, look at me. Here's my project information card. I changed almost all the colors. I think I used 1 color that she called for. And you can see I've got my notes. So if you wanted to use my notes as inspiration, you could. But I started this on July 25th because my dear friend Liz said one day in her story, she's like, hey, it's 5 months until Christmas. Oh, okay, that's fun. Let's start a Christmas pattern. So that's what I did on July 25th. I just finished this guy last night while we were watching TV. And so look at this guy. Okay, but I finished him my way. Thank you very much to my friend Sue, who enabled me to realize I don't have to stitch the whole pattern if I don't want to. And what does that mean? That means, look, first of all, pattern is gorgeous. Love the Santa, love the sign, the snowman, the snow, the deers, the black border, all of it. And this little Studa, love it, okay? But my favorite thing, what drew me immediately, of course, I'm a Patreon. I love everything Teresa does. But what drew me to this guy to pull him out of the July collection as I have to stitch him immediately was the Santa. The Santa, that prim looking Santa. Now, I do have some funky Santas. It's also in my finishing box. I should finish both Santas and be like, Santa funky, Santa prim. How? Because I love them both. But the Santa is what I love. And so Sue, on one of their floss tube is called Floss Toss. I will link it down below. And she was talking both, Sue is doing the green one and Rachel is stitching the yellow one from the July Patreon. And when Sue was talking, she's like, I'm not going to do the black. I was like, oh, we don't have to do the whole thing. No, of course we don't have to do the whole thing. She's leaving off the black. And so I just took that and I ran. So if Sue's going to leave off the black, I'm going to leave off the snow pile and the reindeer and the... So yes, I say that I'm fully finished. I'm not fully finished in a way that it looks like the pattern, but I'm fully finished in the way that this is what I want. And I can't wait. I have to decide if this is going to be a stand-up, a shelf sitter. It's kind of big for an ornament. But let me just show you. I mean, come on. That's the part I liked, was the Santa. The Santa is everything. Now you can see my Santa. It's hard. It's a digital copy, a digital rendering on the pattern. All the Patreons are charted in DMC. Super great. Awesome. Love it. Tiger Lily twist. I wanted variegation in my green coat. When I do big chunky blocks like that, oops, sorry. Stomach growling, did you hear it? Time for breakfast. I wanted some variegation. I loved big chunks of color, but I want movement in it. And so I grabbed variegated green, not something heavy. What did I use? Bayberry is the light green, and the dark green is English ivy. So they were close enough together so it doesn't like scream, but it just gives you a little bit of movement in his coat, a little bit of movement in the red sack. Those are two colors I used. Gentle Arts Currant and Gentle Arts Buckeye Scarlet. That's my favorite Santa red. Buckeye Scarlet, like I have a Santa where his coat is red and I use that. Oh, gorgeous, love it. And then I wanted the candy canes and the little snowflake and of course the little tree. Done. Okay, but let's just talk about this fabric for a little bit. Can we just, let me tell you what this is just in case. Remember 18 count. This was why I brought this out next. 18 count, one strand versus 18 count. So the coverage goes with it because it's a prim pattern. So I thought one strand, prim. Yes, you can see a little bit when you use one strand on 18 count. Now, of course, Sue's 18 count is fantastic, but you can see a little bit of the fabric through the stitches, but that's okay. It goes with the style, I think. So this is 18 count, like I said, my favorite, LFA linens in the color Boston Tea Party. Now, do you see it? The modeling is everything. Love it. I love it. I don't want to crop too much out of it because I want to get it. I don't know. I love it. I love it. This is a big old border. I kind of wasted a little bit of this, and this is like gold. This fabric's like liquid gold to me, but that's okay. When I first cut the fabric, it's because I was going to do the whole thing because it measures 92 by 136. And of course, but once I took the black out and all, once I gave myself the liberty to take the rest of it out, I have a little extra. So we'll see how that guy gets finished. But that was another finish from this week. And what do I have left? I have left my two big girl whips. Now, what does that mean, big girl whips? Well, some people call it Sampler September. And I guess I'm participating in Sampler September, but I kind of always have a sampler going because I kind of love them. Now, this is my floss keeper. Let me give you a little, this is my floss keeper. So these are all the beautiful, drool-worthy colors in the sampler. So if you've been around for a while, you know what this is, but let me show you Miss Lucy. This is a stitch along I'm doing with my friend Sarah. We actually have a couple new friends that have started. Let's see, it is hashtag funky. No, Miss Lucy Sal. I'll put the Sal right here. I think it's Miss Lucy Sal. Darn it if I don't remember. I need to make myself a little cheat sheet. But I pulled this girl out. Let me give you the details. I'm using all the called for threads, all the called for flosses. So there's nothing in my thread conversion boxes because I am not doing a tiger lily twist on this. I am sticking to the called for. This one is Miss Lucy Calcutt from 1826. The designer is just stitching it along. Size is 281 by 380. Big girl, which is why I call her my big girl sampler. She's going to finish 15.6, 21.1. Ooh, big girl. I am stitching her again on 18 count LFA covered bridge. Covered bridge is a more tanny, I need to, more creamy, buttermilky. I don't know. I should have Sue give me a little cheat sheet descriptors. Oh, don't look. As to what I'm supposed to say or how does she describe her colors? I don't know. All I know is it's gorgeous. I wanted to put it on the board. No, I didn't iron it for you, but it's on the board. You get to see more of the modeling, and that is what, just gorgeous. Okay. I just want that, it's the fabric. Do you see the modeling, the movement in the fabric? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Of course, so I had this guy, the center motif. I started this. This was a July 1 start for Sarah's birthday. So I did July. My goal, if you've been around for a while, was to do one motif per month. Yeah. I mean, this house has got to count for like 12 months, right? Well, that's just a fold. But look, I finished that motif, so that's exciting. It was it's the tiniest motif in the thing, but that's okay. And then I've started my anchoring of the house. So let's pull out the pattern. And I got the little reindeer. Love some fill-in when I have some fill-in. So you can see that house is a beast, but getting it to the point where I can just fill in is great. Of course, I did some of that center motif, but then I wanted to go and start anchoring the fill-in house. So she is coming along. I wanted to do the house and go to the left and the right of the house because symmetry is important to me. And so you see how it's very symmetrical. There's the house and then the two deer and then these things, and then they go up from here. So I 100% know there is a counting error, and I'm okay with it. Somewhere in the middle of that flower pot, I counted wrong. I think it was just 2 stitches, but I counted wrong. And because I know that, I want to anchor. I'm going to try not to count wrong down here. But if so, I'll embrace it. I'm okay with it. I'm going to come down here and be symmetrical, meaning the house is in the middle, and then I go this way, and then the reindeers, and then these. And so I'll count 3 times, trying to really stand up and go up. So that way these 2 things, it'll just go up in symmetry. Since they're mirror images of each other, both sides, I got to stitch them both twice. Pickles. But at least they'll be straight on either side, flanking the center motif. That was my plan. So I'm coming down, going this way, and then going up. And then maybe I'll put this little flower pot in for fun. But this is a beast. It's going to be around for a while, and I'm okay with it. So, but because I love it, it's going on my funky floral wall. I still don't have I'm folding my fabric as I'm talking, sorry. My funky floral wall, sampler wall is anchored. It's OG. Its first sampler is Miss Mary. Yes. But I have not found a frame for Miss Mary yet. I am not giving up. I'm not giving up because I can't afford to go and get her professionally framed. It's just too cost prohibitive. So I'll just be patient. Patience is a virtue that I have, and I've got plenty of things to keep me busy, but I do want Miss Mary on the wall someday, not just sitting on a board. She's clipped on a board in that back room back there, all ironed and pressed and waiting for her forever home that I have not been able to find. I might break into the whole power tool situation and make my own frame, but not yet. I'm still holding out hope. So then my other big girl is my funky floral sal. So here's the hashtag for that. If you're on Instagram, come follow along. If you love funky florals like me, this is another one that's going to go on the wall. So, I've got 3 that are going to go on this wall. I don't know if Patrick knows that that's what that wall is going to be, but it's going to be great. It's going to be so fun. So this one, Mary Morgan's, super great, Fox and Rabbit, love that. And of course, at Expo, they released another. They just find like gems, funky gems. Love it. This Venus flytrap flower. So I haven't decided if I'm going to cut it and bring the border down, cut the work. I don't know. Then I don't have to make that decision right now. But in true Tiger Lily fashion, I took this and I twisted it all up. Meaning what? I did a full color conversion to Aurifil Floss. I am an Aurifil artisan, and so I was super excited to be able to switch an entire pattern and do floss for Aurifil. Now, I've gotten a couple questions, so let me just answer those first. Now, again, this is another one of my mini keepers. So my mini keeper pattern that is coming, I promise one day, is going to be like a create your own. So there's going to be options for either side. They're all the same sizes. It's just you can have options. So you can see this is the thread bed side, kind of like was on my whale one or my one color stitch. It's the vinyl with the hole punch on top, right? And that's what I have all my extra flosses because yes, so this is an Aurifil spool holder for 12 flosses. There's elastic and you just pop the spools in there. And then I have a needle. So instead of having the scissor hang here, you can just add what you want to it. This was a needle felt needle little tab I sewed in the middle. It's got my 3 needles on there. So Aurifil Floss, if you don't know, like I said, I've received a couple questions. Yes, it is like Weeks and Gentle Arts and all the things. The floss is. Aurifil comes in, I should know this, like six different weights. Could be 8 different weights. 40, 50, 80, 12, floss. We're going to go with 6. Could be 5. Somewhere around there. Different weights of their thread. Their entire rainbow comes in all these different colors. Floss is one of them. It comes on the wooden spools. Lori Holt designs with their floss. Fat Quarter Shop sells it. Super great. They sell the whole rainbow of Aurifil Floss. Fat Quarter Shop does. I will link them down below. So if you just want to go and grab these 12 colors with me. But, hold on. Spoiler. Don't do it yet. So the floss that comes on the wooden spools, it's called the floss. Cotton, I'm trying to, it gives you a number. It's made in Italy. It's 18 yards per spool. Okay. So just keep that in mind when you're comparing the costs of a skein of Weeks Dye Works for $3-ish. That's 5 to 6 yards of hand dyed cotton. This is 18 yards for, I think Fat Quarter Shop does it right around $5.80, $6. So do the math on that. It's a pretty good value. Moral of the story, pretty good value. It's solid color. It's not variegated. So it's not, there's, pros and cons, different things. But it's six stranded floss, just like the hand dyes. But it's not, it's one color. But 6 stranded floss. So you're going to separate the strands like you do, right? And so that's why I put it on here, and I can just go in here, take my needle, put my needle right under there, and just pop up one strand because I am using, this is a 1-strand stitch. I am stitching this on, like I said, this is a full color conversion. I have this in my blog. So down below, I will link. There will be a link to a blog post where I give you the details, this card sheet, so you don't have to screenshot. I mean, you can screenshot if you want, but it's 11 flosses, so it's the perfect opportunity to switch to try Aurifil. But I'm sewing this on 20 count LFA linens Aida. The color is Popover. This is more of their creamy. This is their buttermilky one. I just thought it was a great friend, held hands with the called for, but not exactly. Like I said, here are the flosses. The reason I'm giving you a big star, asterisk, don't do what I do, because what happens when you do a color conversion? Well, I'm floss tossing, right? I'm doing all the things. They look super great together. I thought, bam, I've got it, crushed it. Color conversion, check, right? And you will see, I shared a post this week. My favorite part of this stitch is now over. I should save my favorites for last to kind of motivate me to move along. But here's where I am. Don't have my board. I should pull out my board, but I'm not gonna. So this is the Popover 20 count. So I'm doing 1 strand over 1, because it's Aida, on 20 count. And my favorite part is that patchwork flower pot. Uses every color. Almost every color. Oh, there's Nova. Hold on. So where was I? Who knows? When no one calls you on Friday, you're like, pause all the things, get the update. Yay. He's going to have a lake day. You do a little bit of school, a little bit of coding, computer sciencing things, and then we're going to go to the lake for the afternoon. Hashtag living the dream in Clemson. Anyway, so I think this is where it was. Okay, so here's my thing, right? Love the flower pot, all the things. It has almost all the threads. Now, when you do a color conversion, you kind of just have to, this is how I did it, is I have this beautiful Aurifil color card. And it's not just printed, it's the actual thread on the Aurifil color card. And this will tell you, oh, here, I can act like I know some things. It'll tell you the different weights. So it tells you 12, 28, 40, 50 floss, 40, 80. Yeah. Anyway, so this is how I did my color conversion, right? I went and I looked and I did all the things, and that's how I did it. And I'm happy with 10 of the colors. But what does that mean? That means one of the colors, this one, I don't love it. I don't love it. It doesn't scream. It just doesn't hold hands like, let me take this out of it. So that's, you know, sometimes you have to be able to change things up. So see, here's the flower. See this lighter green? It's not a lot, but this lighter green right here on these center motifs. And then the lighter green is actually within these green little pods, these flower pods. And so I stitched one and I was like, you know, I don't know if that's the green I want. And then I put it in this, it's in this one and this one, I think, both of those. I don't love it. I don't love it. And because I can, I'm switching it. So what have I done? That quarter shop to the rescue. I have ordered 2 more of these greens. More light, little brighter green. To order those 2 with my most recent order. They're coming. So I might be switching it up. So that's why I'm saying don't get my colors yet. If you want to do my colors with me, one color is changing. Which color is changing? Let's see. It's this green right here. This is the green that is not 2900. It's a beautiful green. It's beautiful. It looks great with this red. It's very prim and Christmas, but this is not prim and Christmas. So this one's coming out. What it's going to become? I don't know. But the moral of the story is this is coming along fantastically. Don't you love it? The flower pot? Anyway, so that is my whip. Have I done all my whips? I think I did all my whips. I did all my whips. I did all my finishes. Yay. Okay, so now we're going to not a deep dive. We're going to dive into a little bit of quilting, a little bit of Alaska quilty haul. And I'm not going to do this today, but I just don't want you guys to think I forgot about you. Back during the 5K celebration, I asked you guys to give me some Flosstube questions in your comments, and I love them. And so I'm a dork. And I have printed them all out. I have copy pasted and added them here. So don't worry. I have your questions and I will be answering them in Flosstube videos. But because this one is already going to be too long because it's a 3-week update, I'm not digging into the questions today, but I am going to dig into them soon. So stay tuned. Questions are going to be answered. You guys had some good ones and I'm having super fun with them. Okay, so let's just show you a quilty update. So I don't even remember when. That's the problem of coming back 3 weeks later. At some point, one day, I decided I needed to quilt for me. And this was a block from Fat Quarter Shop. This was one of their vintage series blocks. Again, I hate to just keep referencing Instagram, but that's where I put a lot of my stuff. And so on Instagram, I give you the details of what this is. But I have one block done. Don't want to hold it upside down because of course I made things more complicated for myself and used a directional fabric. Isn't that a fun block? So this was such a fun block to sew. It's a free block from Fat Quarter Shop. It's part of their vintage series. So they take a vintage block that used to have to do measurements and all kinds of things like template measurements, and they give you much better measurements for it, and you sew it up real quick. You sew it up. My suggestion to you is to not use directional fabric. You can see the little skeletons in the boots. I made that super harder on myself because you kind of twist and you do it. It doesn't have to be all one way. but I made it that way. And so when you're cutting, you have to think about angle it this way or that way. When it's directional, it's a little bit more complicated. So otherwise, this block is easy to follow. I would say confident beginner could do this, maybe an intermediate, but only with non-directional fabric. I am planning, this is a nice, I think it's a 24-inch block. 24-inch block, yes. So I think I'm gonna make 4 of them. I had just this fat quarter bundle. I never have had a Halloween quilt before, just for myself. I don't know why. I love Halloween. I buy the fabrics. And like I've had this bundle. This is an art gallery bundle. Let me grab the info. So I've showed you this before. This is my tray. In my island tour, I told you that I use these trays for different projects, and this is true story. So I just went and grabbed the tray out of one of the slats of my island, and this is basically this quilt on a tray. That way, if I'm working, I can switch to something else, you know, when the fun is over, when fun sewing is over, and now I got to go back to work sewing, project keepers and t-shirt quilts and things like that, then I can just put it away in the little tray system. So I love it. These trays I will link down below. I know I said I was going to link them, but I promise I'll link them down below. So I got you the details because I was able to go pull my tray. So this is the wood lily. That is why I had wood lily. I mean, come on, so cute. So it's a block pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. Exclusive. It's their classic and vintage quilt series. It's a 24-inch block. It's a free pattern. I will link it down below. And so what I did is I went and I pulled this gorgeous art gallery collection. And I think I threw away the tag. Well, pickles. Yes, I did. But don't you love a salvage? Art galleries, spooky and sweeter. That's the collection from Art Gallery. And so I was able to, it's just a fat quarter bundle that I bought a while ago and was hoarding it for some reason. So I have cut into that, and that's what I made the block of. And coincidentally, so I'm at a quilt. We're going to tangent right over. So I'm in Alaska, and we spent a day, like a travel day in Anchorage. And I was like, oh, quilt shops near me. Yay, they have one. So I went over there to the Quilt Tree, I think, in Anchorage. There's actually 2 quilt shops in Anchorage. I went to both of them. While I was there though, they had, so the Spooky and Sweeter collection from Art Gallery I bought, I'm gonna say 2, 3, 4 years ago. I've had it for a while, like I said. That's the great thing about finding local shops is sometimes you will put your hands on something that is otherwise sold out of print. You're not gonna find it anywhere else, because I had tried to find more. Once I did this block, I was like, ooh, I need a little bit more fat quarter bundle now that I'm using directional, and it gets a little complicated with the cutting. You kind of waste a little bit more. When you're doing directional cutting versus just straight cutting. And so I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough to make 4 blocks, which I really don't think I'm going to. They didn't have a huge selection. So while I was there though, in the corner of their Halloween, like, you know, little accoutrement, I found this coordinating that was just like this was part of the bundle, part of that fabric line from Art Gallery. And the orange and the pink is what I loved about this. I just think, love orange and purple, obviously. But I thought this was a fun little twist on Halloween. And so I was able to get 1 yard of this, I think, just to put around the border. I'm not usually a border quilter, like border edge on my quilts. That's what I mean to say. But with 24-inch blocks, it's only gonna make a 48 by 48. Well, I like my quilts to at least, you know, go from my head to my toes when I'm, you know, snuggling. It's a couch snuggle. That has to at least be a couch snuggle size. And so that's like 50 by 60, the length. I mean, you know, 5'9". So I need a little bit of length to cover my toes. And so I was going to do a little bit border edge. And of course, I got another directional fabric. Didn't realize that until right now. Pickles. But I am going to put a border around it just so this 48 by 48 is going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit longer. I don't know. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll get the quilt done. That block took me a hot minute. And since I have to make 3 more and then cutting them, it might be a bit. But anyway, wanted to show you. That's what I did for fun, little quilty fun. I do want to do some quilting in October. Like I talked about, I kind of teased that eons ago in the episode. I was talking about the Dresden plate. Now I love a Dresden plate block. Haven't done one in years. It's all about the template cutter. It looks like it's hard, but it is not. I mean, okay, it's not beginner. It's not like sew 2 pieces of fabric beginner. Okay, so it's a little bit because it is an applique stitch. So you have to sew the stars together, right? Plates, stars, whatever. And then you have to applique stitch it on top of another fabric. So it is a little tricky. You cannot do it with the straight stitch. You do need a different machine. I will pull out my other machine to do the applique stitch on top. You could straight stitch. Did I straight stitch? I did. Look, I straight stitched right here. Straight stitch away, man. Do it. But the key, what's the tricky thing with the Dresden plate is the tool, the ruler tool that you need. So I'm thinking October, I need to make another Dresden plate. And what do I need to make a Dresden plate of? I haven't decided yet, but let me show you my Alaska haul. I don't know if these things go together at all. Probably not. I don't know. When I was buying these things, I wasn't thinking Dresden plates. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking Dresden plate. So anyway, a little bit more quilty haul. So I went to the Quilted Raven. These people gave me a business card. It is adorable. She was so cute. This little shop was right in downtown Anchorage. We did one of those little trolley tours. Anyway, so cute. Now this is more applique. I've never done one of these. It's got everything in theory. Is all cut out. And it's like on, is it sticker paper? It's like sticker paper. I don't know what the quilting portion of this is. So it looks like there's a bunch of fabric stickers. Bunch of fabric stickers in there. And then what? You just stick them down and you got it? That can't be it. No. Pre-fused applique, background fabric, binding fabric, assembly instructions. Additional materials needed, backing fabric and batting. Okay, well, I'm not doing mine as a wall hanging. I was going to do mine. This is going to be the center of my Alaska quilt. And I will probably applique stitch all these things on because my quilts get a little bit of love. And just a little fabric sticker ain't going to cut it. This bear will go rogue in one season. So I will have to stitch all these down. So I'm going to do my own little interpretation of that, but I thought it was super cute. I loved it. You know, this was on day one. We hadn't seen squat. And so I've got the bear and the whale and the fish and the eagle. I think we were going to see all these things. We saw everything but the dog sled. We did not see the dogs and the dog sled. And that's okay. We saw an eagle and a fish and a whale and a totem and a bear. So fun. Okay. But while I was at the Quilted Raven, I got, so batiks usually aren't my thing. You can see I like colorful fabrics, not really huge into the batiks. But what I wanted was something that was Alaska native. I wanted Alaska fabric, meaning it was from an Alaskan artist. And all that was there was batiks. And I said, okay, well, we're just going to embrace that. So I got 6 fat quarters of Alaska themed batiks. And so my goal is I got them in pairs, meaning they kind of coordinate with each other. I was thinking more sawtooth stars are my favorite quilt blocks. And so I was going to do something in the middle and the stars on the outside. So this one is a whale batik. This is a fish batik. Look at that. And these are such a cute little way to present your fat quarters. It was hanging on this spinner. Loved it. And then, these are the bears. Again, this was on day one. Hadn't seen squat. Look at the pink little bears. And then I grabbed to the purple. See how those kind of like play nice together? This was the sea otters. We saw some of those. They were like wrestling in the water with the fish. It was adorable. And then, oh, we didn't see moose. But this is a little moose fabric in the trees. Ugh. And then this one, I thought played nice with it. What does this have on it? More fish. So those are the 6 fat quarters I got. Again, I don't know what they're going to be, but I just felt a little coordination, part of my Alaska quilt. I've got my applique for the middle, so who knows when, what, how, but I like to do a quilt that kind of captures a big vacation. I did a fantastic, I'll have to show you. I think I've showed you before my Ireland quilt when we went to Ireland in 2018. Oh my gosh, that is a fan favorite during the winter season because it is extra warm. But that's what I've got for you today, friends. Ooh, not too crazy long, but hopefully you had lots of fun stitching. Like I said, I've got Expo coming. My Project Keeper release was yesterday. It went off like a hit. Yay. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you for your support. You guys blow me away every month with all your love and support. And I've already started planning and buying for October. And a little spoiler, it's going to be fantastic. If I do say so myself, I'm so excited about it. So October Project Keepers, October 15th. If you missed out on September, there's more coming and these are going to be good. And then I've got stitching. And so follow me on Instagram if you want to see me more often, if you want to see what I'm doing on the daily. I try to come on and just say hi on stories every once in a while. Show you what I'm doing and the stitching and the quilting and all the things. I would love for you to like, subscribe, and comment. Share my video, trying to grow my channel. And that's all I've got for you, friends. Okay, so I will see you next week. I will be here. So until then, happy stitching.